Welcome back to Captain of Industry. My name is Nilaus, and we are here with our glorious little colony. And I've done a few things because I have a little bit of an ambitious project that I want to do in this episode. So what I've done is I have moved some of our buffers for food because, well, that's smart. And then I have set up or moved my water collection from here to here, so I get a nice big space here where we're going to be building our project for today. I've also built like an automatic filler of mountains, and that is because I'm starting to dig through this mountain range, and that just generates a stupid amount of rocks, and I just wanted to automate getting rid of it. And I'm also just kind of leveling this mountain as well. So we just have a lot of rocks that I need to get rid of. Also, the last thing that I also have here is I started making like an automatic tree farm. It's gonna take a while to get there, and we're really struggling for wood in the meantime. But this one is a long-term project. It takes, what is it, 18 years? Has cut after 18 years. 18 years to get there. That's a lot of time. Right. Today we're going to be working on a bus design for food production, because that's always a problem. Food production is always like a complete hassle, and I can never make it nice, and it just gets super convoluted. So I'm going to try to make a bus. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be a step on the way, and then we can improve it even further, and then maybe sometime in the future we'll have like a perfect design for a food bus. But this is my first attempt at it. The first thing I want to do is, first thoughts about it is that I kind of have to dedicate some room for the bus, and I have dedicated 8 lines. I don't know exactly what those 8 lines are going to be, because that's just the 8 lines that I have available. And I know that's not enough, because we have 8 products coming out, plus if we look at the food production, we then have way more than 8 here. But some of them are a little bit different. All the meat, eggs, and sausages are a little bit different. The cakes and snacks are so late game that, well, do we really bother with it right now? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is, and then I have some extra things. So I think it's going to be fine for now. The one thing that I think is most important about it, I've sort of split it into some little areas like this. Like that's an area, that's an area, that's an area, and then we can have like over here 1, 2, a couple more, right? And I think the most important thing for us to get going is the overflow, because I want to get stuff on the bus, and some of the stuff like here, corn and potatoes and vegetables, they just need to get on the bus and get moved in here. I can't move it through this area yet, but if we just if we look a little bit at it, do we even have any coal here? No, I don't know. Then I'm going to take all this out. Do we have any coal here? No, not really. And this one and all of this also stop, assuming that you can harvest that. So it's only like a little bit left in this corner, and there's no coal left over here, so don't even start working on it, because that would probably be much better spent as a place for us to fill instead. There we go. So we'll start filling it at level 3 and then fill it up a little bit higher afterwards, and that gets it a lot easier. We're also sort of almost done. Oh, actually, I want to be done with that first. So as soon as we have a warning about no place to drop things, as soon as this corner gets done, then I'm going to start landfilling this area so we can have a place for the bus. Anyway, let's start working on the design. We have a mixer, and the mixer is better than Microsoft Mixer because it actually exists, and there, we're going to be designing something here. So what I want to do is I want to have a belt. These are crazy because they need corn in the stupid quantities, they need wheat in stupid quantities, they need soybeans in stupid quantities. They produce in even higher quantity. That's a little bit crazy, right? And anything else? No, those are the 3 things right now that I can do here. And obviously we're not going to have 60 excess wheat or 60 of these every second, or every minute. So that's not really the bigger deal here. But I'm still going to have a lot of these. So I think that from now on, or just for this context, I'm going to make 4 of them. There. And that means I need inbound. How many belts do we need inbound? That's difficult to say, right? We are definitely going to get a balancer inbound, and yes, it's not when we can't use. The other thing we don't have is the vegetables and potatoes. They are not in here, So we'll get those. Right, so we're gonna get 3 items inbound from the bus in here. That could be something like maybe one goes in here, maybe another one goes in here, and the last one goes in here, I would assume. And then they go out on mix belts. And I think I want like 2 different outlines like that. Right? So that is, and these will be mix belts that just do whatever they get, and they must be able to complete all of it. Then after that, we're going to have a splitter here. And we're going to get another line of these outbound again. And this will now be sort of doing the next step. The next step is taking it and composting it. So that's a lot slower. But how many do we need? We don't really know. There. I'm just going to make 2 of those. I don't know if that's going to be reasonable. And I'm going to do it from here. That one. There. So that gets a compost out and nothing else. Compost, what do we need with compost? Compost can be used to make as a product in here. Plus water gets fertilizer. And that's what we want. So we get another tier of this. I'll make that over here. Now I'm kind of making it too big. Actually, how fast is that? That takes 36 for... So this is way overscaled. I can actually just make that, potentially even make it like this. Then I'm going to take that out here. Yes. All right, that's good. Then I'm going to get these back again somehow. There. And I'm only going to take 2 of these. And I'm only going to make 2 of these because I can't imagine a world where I'm going to have more than 24. Sure, I'll have it in the beginning, but over time, no. I could have 3, right? I could have 3. I could have 3. It could happen. And then I'm going to be using the fertilizer. Just putting that in a box. Sort of pointing towards here. Yes, that's good. And that'll be potentially 48. I think this should be turned the other way. Flip. Here. And... oh, that's a little bit of a hassle on all this. Because I kind of want the 3rd one here. That's kind of... it just feels right to have this one for symmetry reasons. There, and that goes in. And like that. There you go. And you're of course not going to be made correctly. Sweet. Right. I think this is a good start, and these are going in here, and you're going there now. And it doesn't matter how many belts we get outbound because we're not going to get it inbound. However, there's also a chance that I'm going to have the feed here coming in from other sources. There. And I'm also likely to get... and that's on the same line. Likely to get some other way of getting the compost in from... I don't know. We don't know yet, but it's likely that we'll get it from somewhere else. And... there. There, this looks nicer. It's a lot of tinkering with this, and we'll do that kind of separately there, and there. I don't know where that's coming in from, but I just know that it's likely that it will come in from somewhere, so therefore I prepare it. And then water is also coming in from somewhere. Good. So that is a pretty good starting location for something. Now let's look at how big it is. It's a little bit bigger than I wanted it to be. But I think this is a nice design. We'll just put it over here. Another thing that we want to do in terms of overflow is the other 2, the potatoes. What can we do with potatoes? Potatoes can be composted and made into fuel gas. What can we use fuel gas for? Well, not a hell of a lot right now. We can make it in a cracking unit. We can make it into diesel. That's really nice. It's never going to be a lot of this, but it might be a little bit. Or we can burn it in to make steam. That's also quite nice. So it's an option, but we need the anaerobic digester as as the baseline here. This can take either potatoes or it can say vegetables. I'm not going to use the wheat because the wheat, we have another way of dealing with that. I'm going to make 2 of these. Let's make them like with 1 space in between. And here. So that means we're going to get this inbound, and that's inbound. Good. Then I have 2 outbounds. And as you can see here, this is where we also have some compost from another source, which can then go in here either by truck or by going on a bus or sort of just mashing it in somehow. But it's definitely an option. Then I think I want this and then flip it. And I'm going to build it somewhere like this. Then I'm going to have a storage, and I'm going to have a liquid storage as well, because the other thing is the fuel gas that we get out. Is this just perfectly placed? There? Yes, perfectly placed. Sweet. Like that. And then it's much easier to get this on a 1 level up. Here. Here. And here. And the quantity is so low that it's also kind of irrelevant. There we go. Very small amount of compost, very small amount of fuel gas. But eventually, yes, it'll be something. And we then get this one out. Good. Right, this will be fuel gas, and this will be compost. And the compost here should actually just sneak in somewhere. And this is what I mean by that we'll have more compost. So I'm going to sneak it in somehow into that. I think the most important thing is to start making this. We can't get the bus all the way over here. So it's actually going to be a little bit different, because if I put these products on the bus, then they'll just go in here and fill up this and just be consumed. That's not really what I want, because I want the overflow to continue. So I'm going to have to build some kind of other thing. Is it done? Oh, it's done. To make sure that they go out here and go in a box and then go into this. Yes. And I'm going to be hurrying up and building this part. This is flattening. Let's flatten that one. And flatten here, just to make sure that that gets flattened. Great. That should help a lot on this part. Okay, it went stable because there's no way to drop things. Cool. I think I'm going to start building this, and we'll take a look at the next thing. Oh, also, I need to actually start working on something here that we got. Yeah, I have started making soybeans and wheat as well. So we have all the products now available. So we now built the belts here, and that took a little bit of time. We're also utilizing the fact that we can now take these balancers and raise them up. So I'm actually going to do a priority balancer here, so that it's prepared for the future, that it will just by default flow on, but then all the excess, but there will only be excess right now, will be flowing in here. I'm also only taking sort of the excess out here, so taking them, splitting them off from each of these locations that are now stored, and happy. And let's see, for some reason we have a little bit, I needed to flatten this area over here. And once that's done, then that's going to be good. So we are going to start seeing if we can get this one to work. We also need water coming in, but I think I have water over here. So we'll just find a way to get that in as well. That means now we have a pretty big task to build here. Can I even see how much it is? No, I cannot. But I can look at this and go 214 unity, but don't even know how much it is. But if I copied it, then we can see how much it is. It is 1,800. We might want to take a little bit of a loan out to get this done. So as you can probably imagine, this is going to take a hell of a long time to build. So fast forward until it's ready to implement. While this is slowly building, I think it makes sense for us to start designing the next 2 things that we need to do. And those are using the soybeans and using the wheat. And particularly the wheat is important because we can see here, wheat is fully stored. And I should actually have a notification on each of these. And that will also be a little bit different because that will be branching off from this part here. And because it's not, wheat cannot be fed into the city, it should be fed sort of exclusively or primarily into the production facility. So let's design a little wheat production. I hate that word, but whatever. We're going to start with a mill, Actually, we're going to take this out because that's confusing me. There. We're going to start with the mill coming in here. And then I am going to... That produces 16. And going to a baking unit, that produces... Consumes 14. 16. And then some water. That's excruciatingly easy. And then it has a little bit of excess of this here, which is kind of annoying. And I'm kind of thinking I should put that... I'm thinking that there's going to be more things that produce animal feed just like randomly, right? Yeah, the food processor here is going to produce animal feed. So I think maybe we'll get like a belt of animal feed that goes into this one. And that means I think I want a bus build of, or a bus section of built of animal feed. And that will just definitely be the closer one because it's the least useful one here. And of course I misplaced it. Always do. Anyway, I will need that to get that. So that just means this goes somewhere backwards on the bus. And this one goes in. But I think I want a buffer storage of wheat here. I think. Yes, I think I want a buffer storage of wheat here. Inside this area. So that will be like that. Going in. And that's the only thing inbound. Yes. And animal feed. And this goes onwards into the next. And then it needs some water in. And then I need to get a buffer. Outbound buffer. Like so. Oops. And you go just back in here. Good. And then water is easy to get in. I think I always need to have... Yeah, so this part. Let's see. I want to build it exactly at this spot here. Yes. And it's a small build. Hold on. It's also a little asymmetric, isn't it? That looks better. Marginally better in my perspective. There. And then water comes in from that side. Great. So I take this out and then I figure out where I can place it. It doesn't really take a lot of space, so we can just make it something like this. I think that's the decision I decided that this was where I wanted it, right? There. Good. So that's also done. And then that will be... the wheat is now going here. Yes. Ah, perfect. And that will now go into this location. And then it'll have a loose... Here. Jump, jump. And I'm not going to take that in. I'll just be taking these two out. And then I'll be making the U-shaped balancer. 1, 2, 3. Connect it up here. Build it. Oh, right, because we don't have any of that. That's the only thing inbound. And then I don't know what I'm going to do about this here. Because I'd actually like that to go on the bus as well. Ah, that's a problem. I guess I can't get it on the bus right now. But that's definitely something. Okay, so let's activate this part and also get that. Because then it actually means that this has to be a little bit out here. And that goes out because now at this point it is no longer sort of a branch off and then continue. This is going to be a fully get rid of it at this point. Yes. And that will be one of these here. That goes out. This goes in here and up there. Good. And can I Unity build it? Yes, I can. So it continues. So that means... Can I Unity build it? Ah, come on. Priority. Priorities, please. There. And that means this is going in here to build this part. And water comes in pretty damn easy to get that in. I hope. Go over there and then in there. Also built. Good. Now that one gets built. And we also put this back on the animal farm, animal feed bus. And while we're waiting for this to complete, let's build the final design. And that final design will be in a food processor. Food processor comes in here, I guess. And that makes like the weirdest thing, sulfur from a sulfur mine and limestone that I guess we have, makes tofu and animal feed and then a little bit of water. So this is just inbound on boxes because we don't really have any other way of getting things in. So that's going to be 2 things on boxes and actually 3 things on boxes because I also want the first one will be, I have the soybeans coming in as, there. Soybeans will be in the middle. Can I make any of them sort of even? Well, I think I leave it 3 in between, so that goes directly in. Then I'll have sulfur out here, which we have kind of prepared, and then we have limestone out here, which we can also get. The sulfur is kind of prepared in the sense that I have set this one up, the sulfur mine, I've built it, and I just stacked it up for something. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go out there, load a crew, and then go out there to load cargo. Then they will go out and pick up the whole damn thing and come back, and that gives us some kind of surplus here. We have to make sure that they can actually unload from here, so I need to build more storage for those concrete blocks that we have put out, and that is concrete slabs. Oh, these are funny to have here. That is also concrete there. And these 2 get built as well. So that means we can get the concrete out of here, which means the ship can actually unload. I don't want to... actually, we could take that one, and that would be nice if they could actually get in here. Yeah, okay. They are kind of desperate because we need these mixers done. That's a lot of stuff done. Anyway, let's continue on this journey here. That'll go in to that one, and that'll go into that one. Great. And then we have animal feed, and we have... And just as I realize this, I'm going to flip it there, because then I want just a normal big box here for the tofu. Definitely lovely to get some tofu. I don't know, tofu doesn't seem like food if you need sulfur and limestone to make it. And this will then also be going back on to that bus, the animal feed bus, and then we can copy it and then place it somewhere reasonable here. It's not very big, but it's kind of flat here. We could also double it up if we need it, but I honestly think that consuming 9 of these is enough for the long term, for a while at least. And it can easily be shuffled around if I want to make it bigger. But let's get this one, and that means we can get another inbound here. That one, and you just merge into that belt, and I will get the tofu. Which one's the tofu? The tofu is the second line, so that means from here go in that location, get 1 of these, and then delete these 2 and make that into a balancer like this. And I'm going to just speed build it out here. And priority will not be forward, priority will be going out here because I want to prioritize this part. And another thing ready to build. There you go. Oh, you got stuck. Recover. A lot of time has passed since we left it off, and it took a while, and I found out some interesting things in the meantime. What I found out, look at the beautiful ghost lines here. What I found out is that I had to take a loan to start building this because it required like 1800 construction parts too, and I took a loan out, and the loan was getting a little bit overwhelming because I couldn't really repay it while also building up here, so I missed a few payments. So what I found out that I could actually do, which is a little bit cheaty maybe, is that once you have a loan here, and if you start missing the payments a little bit, you can see the score is still going up, then it just adds the rest to the next month, which means it becomes like a really high amount. So what you can do is just take out a new loan, pay off your first loan, and then you have 10 more years to pay it off. And with 5% interest rate and 4% fee, it's really not a big deal to say like, okay, well, 5% more over some years isn't really a big deal. What we're also doing here, you can see we have removed the coal facility, is completely done, and we're now filling in this area just nice and casually. So I think it's time for us to get this thing here. There we go. And if we do that, then we now have a food bus. So let's just walk through what we have on each of those lines. This one will actually now be changed because I am not going to put it into this box. I'm going to take it directly out. Same with this one. This one will go here and then be primarily going forward into this line, the second line from the right, and going into potatoes. So that's just some subtle changes we need to make out here. Let's see, that is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Taking out, that's taking out, that's taking out. And let's just get rid of that. And we can then build it here as well. Oh. And I am, let's see, that is another one. So we have to go with a flat lift. That'll be here. And then EE, there we go. And in and in. Come on. There you go. And that's completed as well. So now that means this goes on the primary line. This is the vegetables, the salads, and that is out here. It'll primarily move forward, but alternatively go in here and become turned into some fuel gas. The fuel gas is over here. I want to tag it if it gets too high. And then I think the fuel gas is... I put a little fuel gas gauge here so that we are going to be working primarily on fuel gas. The thing that we need to do now is very important is the stripper part here, the sour water stripper, because our pollution is nasty. We're just pouring here this sour water that's actually very useful. We're pouring it out into the ocean, which is a huge waste and also highly polluting, or sort of not working. That's kind of the way it is. I can't keep these two going because I'm just filling up mountains upon mountains here, and there's just no way I can just do a little bit more here. But I need to figure out a better way to extend out here, or maybe leave it somewhere else. We definitely have issues with digging through this. Once we get through the first part, if you look at this here, then I'll start sort of making it further down, and then we definitely have a lot of place to unload stuff, but that's not just yet. Low supply of rubber. Oh, that's of course, that makes sense because we're using quite a lot of rubber for our for all this build. So again, we'll just zoom forward until all of these are working and in progress. So here we are. We have now completely filled this up with taking all of the transport needed for our food is now pretty much removed. There's of course a little bit yet, and that's the limestone in here and the sulfur in here. At some point this one will notify me if empty. Yeah, that means we need to go out and get some more sulfur out in the world, and then of course we are bringing things in. So the way it works is up here we just have we'll go through each of them. The vegetables are going in, and they are going in to primarily, here's the splitter, primarily back into the city, but secondarily it goes in and becomes fuel gas. Okay, and the second line is potatoes. That's pretty much the same, primarily going into the city, secondarily going in and becoming fuel gas. Any excess here that should actually, or could actually, be sent back out to, which one is that? That one here. But that's a little bit, it's actually not that complicated. I think I should do that. And then I think it would actually be easier to do it this way. There. Right? And then this goes out, and this goes out, and this one reverses. Like that. That makes sense. Oh, poor little one. You got stuck. You'll just be zoomed out. So that goes in here and just merges back on this line. So if these three are all running, they will produce only 6 plus 6 plus 6, and this one can take 36. So obviously right now, because things have been stalling a little bit, then we don't really have all of these working. This one might have a little bit of stuff that it wants to go out, but these are just chugging along, and they will just be consuming a lot of this, and it will reach a steady state. And it might even get to a point where I disable some of these because we just don't need that many of them. Research-wise, if we just look at where we are research-wise, there's of course a lot of things we just still want to do, but basically at this point, it's about getting up to the next research tier, and then we'll sort of, that's the next milestone. These milestones, the constructions and the research, those are kind of the milestones where you sort of stop up and figure out what's next. Let's go through this one. The next one is corn. At this point, we're not using corn for the corn mash for alcohol, but that's definitely also an option. But right now the corn just goes in and primarily goes into the city, but secondarily goes in and becomes here some animal feed. Animal feed will be used later on, but right now it'll just be converted into compost. Next one is the soybeans. Soybeans also pretty simple. Goes in here, becomes the tofu, together with some random chemicals. And then alternatively, it goes in here and becomes animal feed. And lastly is the wheat. Wheat becomes the baking, the bread. And the bread is actually filled up all the way. And this is what happens. Like, we fill it up. We fill up an internal buffer here. But once this buffer fills up, it fills back all the way. It fills up this wheat. And then when that fills up, it fills all the way out here. And only at that point will the wheat continue onwards and then become trash. So it's building up a big buffer before it starts trashing items. And this looks great, right? Doesn't it? I think it looks great, but we definitely have some things to work on. We have to work on our health, and the reason why the health is so bad is because of the water pollution. So that is the sour water stripping that we need to do. Also, we need bigger vehicles. That's a small thing that we need to add, but definitely also an important thing. So I think that concludes this episode with a nice food boss coming in here. So thank you very much everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. It's one of those things that has been bothering me since the start of the game. It's like, how the hell do we deal with the food? And the answer, of course, is a bus. So until next time, take care, and as always, stay effective.